This is a mess. Okay then. What I'm doing is trying out my turret. Can more or less point upwards now, which is pretty decent. And well, this thing is basically possessed. Oh my. No. No. Why do you do this? Please stop! Think of all the good times! Yes, I know I made a flyer. It doesn't mean I'm gonna abandon you. Please, can't we just talk about this? Oh, thank goodness. You've stopped. There's more fight in you? Is there more fight in you? No. Well, that was interesting. So, anywho, that's all I have for you today. Thanks for coming along. Never mind. So, anyway, moving on. I did upgrade, or I should say, redesign the turret of my Nemesis tank, which isn't a bad thing technically. Has a better firing arc, but has a small problem. A very small problem. And I'm aware that this is engine related. It's not really directly related to how FreeGem designed it. But absolutely hilarious when it triggers. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where'd you go? How'd you get all the way over there? Well, that must have been spectacular. I missed it. Oh well. Let's make it happen. Come on, let's have ourselves a spectacular time. There we go. Oh, that wasn't fun. Come on, you can do better than that. Come on, give me Carnage. Wow, I got tossed. Okay, let's see the Carnage. Now this is true damage testing. Can't get too close because you never know what it's gonna do. So yeah, my tank is possessed, and it's okay for it to happen here, but it's a lot less okay to happen elsewhere. So basically what's happening is that the turret is pressing against the body and is applying an unholy force upon it. Looks like a bucking bronco. Oh yes, look at that. Oh, look at those moves. Yeah. All the mobility of the Walking Dead. No, actually Evil Dead. Yeah, show him who's boss. Not me, not me. Ah. Okay. It really wants to do something. I can tell that it really wants to do something. Oh my goodness, it's body slamming itself. Like a game of, I don't know, wants to slam down. Slam dunk its way all the way across the map. Uh-oh. Oh wow. Whew. That's a slamming good time. Whoa! Okay. Yikes. Oh, no, 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 no. Stay away from me. Still going. Are you done? Are you done yet? Doesn't feel like you're done. You're not done yet. My goodness. Whoa! Huh. Look at those moves! And obviously this constitutes a control issue, so yeah, there's that. Whoa, uh-oh. This is a hunk of twisted metal, and I think it's finally been released. The demon part has been released. And I'm quite surprised to say, it seems to be the rotary part. Of all things. Weird. It's really weird, but yeah, that's what happened. So yeah, that's Carnage. That's Carnage. A moment of silence for the fallen. That's fall. Way too sensitive to fall damage, honestly. Honestly. Ah yes, well, still faster. Okay, so let's find ourselves another build. Sure, let's give this a try. I need a drink. So, this was meant to be a new PathForger bot. It basically hovers. Not very effectively, but it hovers. Limited agility. Lasers at their finest. So yeah, unfortunately we don't get to enjoy the joys of seeing the build at its full glory because, yeah, there's a little thing called, you know, zoom being way too close. Okay, that's a thing. I'm guessing one or more of the anti-grav units has been taken out. Nope. No, we just needed a little bit of 10 to 11 care, I guess. Okay, or maybe, just maybe. No, I was mistaken. Well, there certainly isn't enough power to... Alright, well, clearly something's gone wrong there. Let's give it another try. decent speed, presuming you can actually control it. Which I obviously can't. If that wasn't clear enough. Mostly Arium. A little bit of Neutronium. Still too heavy. For what it is. Seemed like a good idea at the time. No! No collision allowed. You did not get the memo. Oh boy. Will you kindly please stop colliding? No? Fine. Then nosedive. Well, anyway, that's a thing. That's a thing. Who needs you? Much faster than my ground builds. Nope, that's not what I want. Let's give this a try. You've seen this in action, so does the hover thing a lot better, that's for sure. Unfortunately, it has a little case of, well, recoilitis, which I'm of the understanding is going to get mitigated. So one thing I like about this build is that it has certain degree of vertical stability. It can fly. And more importantly, it's fast. For what it is. For what it is pretty fast. Definitely has control issues though. And is quite vulnerable to being, how do I put this nicely? Disabled. All it really takes is hooking the thrusters directly to the seat. One side of thrusters going through a logic part. I'm sure I'll link the correct logic part, the correct math logic part. Basically, it switches the parity of the input. So we end up with an output which recognizes the negative side of the spectrum of the input, because left is considered -1 and right is considered +1. So when connecting them to the seat, there's a requirement for math to get this to work. One thing I'm pretty sure is happening here is acceleration, but I can't be certain. It feels like I'm faster, I'm not sure. So yeah, it is fast, it's fast. However, it doesn't like being in closed spaces much, so yeah, there's that. So yeah. Next. Oh yeah, there's that. Next. Not what I had in mind. Let's give the voice of PathForger. The voice of PathForger, excuse me, a track. This is the first build made, which was intended for flying. It's a very, very simple control scheme. Uses the direct player input to control the activation of let's do that again. It uses direct input to determine movement. There's no gyros in this. It's literally just depending upon thrusters for mobility. And depends upon player input for elevation, which is okay, but quickly superseded. So yeah, that happened. You can actually try this spot with elevation linked to the right mouse button. Moving on, and finally, as at the moment in terms of flyers, got this thing. And one reason I'm demonstrating this is because there's a good chance it's going to get nerfed. And, well, before I actually get it into action, so. This bot does have a new trick up its sleeve. It has a toggle switch to activate let's try that again. Oof. So it has a couple of functions going on. It has, well, it should have a sensor to activate the strength of some of the internals. I think all of them get activated. I'm not sure about that. I should double check that. But I think all of them get activated that way. There's 6 total anti-gravity blocks in this thing. So aside from that thing, and aside from being connected to the jump button in this case for elevation, also press the right click, and that increases the amount of lift. One releases it, you can notice acceleration. Let's try that again. Let's go to maximum elevation, just based on anti-gravity. Let go, right click, and notice a significant increase in speed. Lost my sensor. But the thing is, this doesn't require the sensor in order to work. It's a monolith of sorts, but it also features what I like to compare to a kind of a Spider-Man kind of movement style. It swings about. It quite literally swings about, in part thanks to the thruster on the weapon. It makes a huge difference, and you can get about just by virtue of that. I do have more of the anti-gravity blocks connected to the jump button, so I can actually control swings a lot better than I otherwise would. And furthermore, I also have directional servo and thrusters. So yeah, this is kind of cool. Quite unique in that regards. Feels very differently to other similar builds I've tried in the past. It does every bit as much flying as it does hurtling, which is interesting. Just turned off the anti-gravity toggle, so it's now more sensitive. Can turn it back on. So it's capable of more controlled movement. And more importantly to me, has some control. So it can actually settle down and start firing. And it has a pretty decent firing arc. Which makes a huge difference. I mean, not very good at firing at what's above it, but I wouldn't expect a huge amount of demand to do so. A flyer shouldn't be firing at other flyers, generally speaking, unless you're an interceptor, which is not a bad thing, it's a possibility. So yeah, this is another case where I'm quite sad that I cannot fully illustrate the beauty of this movement style, because the zoom out is maxed out and is woefully insufficient. The camera is very clearly centered to the weapon, so that causes issues. But yeah, I'm looking forward to trying this properly on Friday. I'm hoping that the experience will be more positive this time around. So yeah, I suppose one thing I could do while I'm at it is talk about what I think would be necessary for me. Well, I wouldn't say necessary, but what would really help me to be less inclined to be angry. And I won't say that anger is always the best of ways to express things, but it tends to be a rather honest way. even though it may also be mistaken. So, for instance, I often get angry with myself, generally, when I'm missing my shots. Although, that reminds me, this does have a very significant improvement over the Scythe. In that it features a much more stable weapon, just by virtue of scaling up the rotary platform. Oops. And take a hit, but not too many of those, I also really like how it just skims across surfaces. It's perfectly serviceable. So anyway, I was saying, what do I think would be an improvement, shall we say? Well, for one thing, I would like to see a situation where heavy wheels have a little more mobility than they currently have. And by more mobility, I mean not being forced to crawl when turning, specifically. Having modestly better torque at the lowest end, especially when handling any kind of incline. I do not expect a vehicle to fail to climb the most basic of inclines. I mean, dead zero, dead stop, not able to move. That is the direct opposite of what I consider to be fun. I don't expect to hurtle along with a heavy vehicle. I mean, those days are long gone. Even though they were a little fun while they lasted. I'm not talking about pyramids, obviously. But yeah, it's a thing that has gotten me, whoopsie, rather miffed in the past, and not the very distant past at all. In terms of flyers, I still do think that flyers have a little bit of deficit in regards to stability, ability to carry, decent loads. And by decent, I mean more than just the bare minimum of a box. Although I will say this box is primarily made out of moderonium. I managed to get away with moderonium, so that's a very significant thing. And that's a thing. Oh yes, something I would definitely like to see more of. So yeah, by the way, notice that even though I'm hurtling along, I have quite a degree of control. That is really nice. Anyway, coming back to the subject, one thing I would really like to see is... I mean, come on, Free Jam. I want to see my build. I want to see the entirety of my build and not in particularly selective shots. It's kind of what makes Robocraft. Being able to see your build is quite important. At least to me. And I'm pretty sure you're listening in that regards. It's just not a priority at this time. But I get it, but still. It would really be nice. There's so much footage that is being ruined because, well, you just can't get a good view of things. I mean, imagine the Spider-Man game having such a bad camera situation that Spider-Man ends up halfway across, halfway off the screen half the time. That's not fun. That's frustrating. It's people play the game because they want to see Spider-Man, and this is not Spider-Man, but for some reason the movement style kind of reminds me of it, which is frankly kind of cool in my opinion. But moving on. So yeah, also it's nice to hear that you're going to increase the acceleration of thrusters. I'm looking forward to seeing how that impacts things like rocket cars. That would be very nice to see. I'm not sure how to feel about the news that you intend on slowing the top speed of thrusters. I mean, maybe it won't even affect the build like this, but I have a bad feeling that before it even gets a playtest, it's going to find itself a lot more droney and controlled. Maybe drifty, which I mean, there are advantages to drifty, I suppose. I mean, whoopsie. There's definitely the advantage of having better control of things. Whoops. I'm losing my touch. Oh yeah. Oh, whoops. Well, that's not good. Let's see how far we can get one thruster down. I mean, we get along fine. We get along. But let's face it. Nice to have a fresh build. Turning the safety on. So I guess, yeah, I wanted to go for a chill video for once. Also to demonstrate a non-failed bot. I don't think it's a failed bot, because although it would easily have been, more representative to see it in action with there goes the animation. Okay, fine. Not dependent on it. Uh-oh. Okay. Okay, moving on. Okay, that was weird. So yeah, well, it's a little kooky, but I like it because it's just different. And I can take a hit, which is interesting. A little unpredictable too, I suppose. Oh, I know what we can do for the last few moments. Let's see, another train wreck. Let's see what devilish contortion we can inspire. Alright, we've started the process, and that was a very short process, so that was sad, that was sad. Okay, let's try again. You shall spawn! You shall spawn the things! You shall be angry and such. Alright. Alright, well, that's a process. It has begun! We have set it in motion! All hail the demon tank! Except for that little detail. Okay, well, let's try it again, but this time... Uh-oh. We're trapped. You done? Is that everything? Come on, you can do better than that. No, you're not getting off that easy. Oh yeah. You're trying. Oh, come on. You made it look so easy. Alright. Oh, so close. Is that everything? That's everything got. Fine. Getting closer. We need a nice little wreckage. Wreckage ruckus. Wreckage ruckus. I got it set. I guess not. Alright, here we go. Here we go. This is the one. Well, as always, I do appreciate that you've been sticking around and enjoying the content, come thick and thin. No, run! Once again, I should point out that the game is in early development, so things like this can and, you know, does happen. It'll be a lot less amusing when on the battlefield, I can assure you that much. I won't be laughing then. But in the meantime, we get to enjoy these silly moments, and yeah, I mean, it's a way of life, I guess. It's Robocraft. It's where things go gloriously wrong at times, or right, whichever way I look at it. Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, in any case, while we enjoy the rest of this wreckage, this glorious wreckage, I thank you for watching. Oh yes, one more thing I did kind of forget to mention. Yeah, cameras need improving in general, not just in terms of zoom, but also in terms of, well, how they handle obstructions. It is strongly my belief that cameras should deprioritize fixed, indestructible objects for the purpose of aiming, and otherwise prioritize destructibles, plutonium crystals, enemy pilots, things like that. Things that are worth aiming at. It may be the case that as a result of this, you might find that your bot will start aiming at a slightly different thing if you're aiming at a particular direction where there might be an enemy hiding, perhaps. It's a possibility, although I don't think that'll be much of an issue for the simple reason that unless one is pointing at the sky, there's no reason to assume that one isn't actually pointing at the ground. In the absence of a legitimate target, then yes, one should in fact aim at the ground, or whatever is at the end, or the building. In fact, I would even say that the ground should take priority over, indestructible building objects, because it's a more useful point of reference. Furthermore, for those situations where a bot, specifically a flyer, but not necessarily just a flyer, but any bot that ends up close enough to either a wall or a ceiling that the camera would be tempted to clip through, it should be the case that the wall or surface that would otherwise intervene be made transparent, translucent. I'd say even a 75% translucency would help. The reason being that I would like to see what I'm aiming at. I would like to be able to shoot at things that the bot can see but I could not necessarily see. That makes a huge difference to me. So yeah, that's about it in that regards. Oh, you got power left, I can see. That thing is loaded. Loaded yet stable. Never mind. Not stable anymore. So, I see a gun. Turret. It wants to move, but it seems to have given up. Alright. I declare you stable. Sadly. Oh well, thank you for watching.